Hi, this is Tosin, and I'm here to talk about men's mental health. Growing up, the stigma with men's mental health has always been, as a man, you have to be strong, you have to be tough, you're taught to suppress your feelings, kind of be mysterious where no one knows what's really going on in your life. And in my opinion, I think that's not true at all.
What's good, everybody? My name is Idris. We all know the common stigma about men not being able to express their emotions and just basically not being able to be being vulnerable, honestly, and expressive. And it's honestly detrimental to our mental health, because what I like to say is the more the fuel, the bigger the explosion.
I would say probably the most prevalent one was that, men shouldn't really show emotion, or that whenever they're going through something, they just have to, internalize it and keep it pushing. And that was something that, I really took personally, because growing up, I was very emotional. I cried a lot. And because, it was something that was frowned upon, it was something that I kind of was made to feel like I was weird or different because of it. And as a result, I kind of grew up, as I got older, I was like, okay, I'm not going to really show emotion, even though I might feel this type of way right now. I'm just going to take a deep breath, process it, and then just keep it pushing. But what I didn't realize was I wasn't processing it. I was just kind of pushing everything to the back of my mind. And eventually I got to a breaking point.
And personally, last year, I was in a very, very rough spot, and my mindset was not in the right place, and I literally saw no end. And I saw an end, and we all know what that end is.
So, in high school, I struggled with depression, and it was a very hard, dark time for me. I was very unmotivated to do a lot of things, and I just had no motivation to do anything. The only thing that kind of lifted me out of that spirit was playing sports, and it got to a point where I almost even quit sports as well. So
I remember it was my sophomore year in college. I was going through a really rough patch that year. Just dealing with a lot of stuff. And I remember just breaking and looking back on it now, and finally, having a name for it. I was having a major depressive episode, and I just literally lost all motivation to do a lot of the stuff that I was passionate about. And I wouldn't say that necessarily, I wanted to die, but I was definitely in suicide ideation. I was questioning why I was here, why am I alive? I failed as a man, so what's even the point? And, that kind of kept me cooped up in my room for about a week. And I was barely eating, I was barely sleeping, I was barely drinking any water. I was kind of just existing, trying to figure out where, my place in the world was.
One thing I did was I started becoming more verbal, expressive, and I started going outside, hence why you see me, I'm outside right now. But being expressive was probably the best thing I've ever did, because I realized how much people wanted to help me, and the more help I got, the easier it became. So, it's honestly a rough path, and it's something we feel like we can't control when we can actually control it. And I feel like it's just all about trial and error. When you put the effort in to actually alleviate all these problems and stuff, it becomes it becomes an easier ride.
The main thing that really got me out of just helped in general was having someone to talk to. Like, you shouldn't be afraid to express your feelings. You should, like, there should be someone that you should be able to confide in, and that you can talk to about anything, just like anyone. Just as long as you get off your chest and like you're not keeping it inside, that's when it's gonna eat you alive.
And it wasn't until like the 4th or 5th day that I realized that, okay, I've been holed up in this room. Everyone keeps on texting me. I can't hide from everybody forever. Obviously, there's something wrong with me. Even though I was taught not to express my emotions or to talk about anything outside of the household, or, just to keep everything internalized, I kind of got to the point where I was like, you know what? I can't feel any worse than what I already am feeling. So I might as well just see if I can reach out to someone who can better help me process some of the things that I'm thinking about and feeling right now. So I reached out to my area coordinator at the time. And she plugged me in with the mental health counselor on campus. And although I was a little bit hesitant at first, like, I kept on telling myself, like, it can't get any worse than this. Like, what's the most harm that could come from you talking about what it is that you're going through? And that was probably the best thing that I could have done for myself, because I got in contact with this really powerful mental health counselor who is a God-fearing woman, and she really helped me unpack a lot of the things that I, for so long, was told, made me weird or different or soft or emotional, or, Rex, you can't talk about that kind of stuff because people are going to view you as weak. And, I was trying to uphold this image for so long that eventually when I did break, I was like, okay, what now? Like, I was told how to operate and conduct myself for so long as a man, a black man at that, when I wasn't living up to those standards and expectations, or quite frankly, those stereotypes and stigmas, is when I realized, okay, I need to unlearn some things. And it was mostly due in part to the teachings and the concepts that were introduced to me thanks to my mental health counselor, but also too having the opportunity to really develop my relationship with God again and recommit my life to him and learn more about his word, that I was able to really come to terms with the fact that a lot of the stuff that I was being taught really was contradictory to what was planned out for my life. So
another thing is kind of like do what you love, and like try and like take your mind off of that. Like, for example, for me, the way I kind of cleared my headspace was to like go to the field and just run.
And one piece of advice I do have for anybody who's dealing with these kind of struggles is just, honestly, first of all, you have to start with being verbal. You have to be able to talk about these problems, because if you keep these bottled up inside you, then the more stressed and depressed and the more difficult it will be. So one piece of advice I would say is, first of all, start with a journal and write down in your journal things you want to accomplish, things you're struggling with, and some of your hobbies. And start with writing down things you're struggling with, and research things that will help fix these problems.
Provide a piece of advice to any other young man of color that may be going through a similar situation as me, or anybody who's a firstborn child, or dealing with being a first-generation American or a first-generation college graduate, whatever it is. Just know that you aren't alone. Like, a lot of the stuff that you're going through, like, there's someone else out there that is also going through it. And stay encouraged. Realize that at the end of the day, a lot of the things that we keep suppressed aren't helping us. And it's a lot better to just cast your burdens and let it go. And I'm telling you right now, like, the moment that you feel that weight come off of you, you're going to feel so much better. So don't carry that stuff around with you. It's not going to do you any good. at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we're being vocal about sharing our experiences, because at the end of the day, that's the only way that we're going to be able to break these stigmas and counteract a lot of the stereotypes that's associated with men's mental health. So that's all I got. My name is Rex Shege. I'm the host and founder of King's Tales, and this is the video project called Striking Down Stigmas. Remember that your mental health matters at the end of the day, and yeah, continue to check in with one another, because you never know who's going through what. Continue to be a beacon of light and support for those around you, and realize that at the end of the day, your story matters as well, and your voice matters. So thanks for tuning in. I pray that this reaches someone that may be going through something, a silent battle, a silent war in their mind, a silent war in their heart, and I pray that, it touches them and helps them get through whatever it is that they may be going through, and realize that you're not in this alone. All right, take care.